Hello and good morning. Welcome. My name is Pam, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your first time visiting, welcome, and I hope that you will enjoy my special kind of crazy and return and watch again in the future. This podcast is where I talk about knitting and crochet. Coming to you from central Illinois, across the river from St. Louis. I'm drinking some bulletproof hazelnut coffee, and apparently I only own Christmas mugs. And this is episode number 10. Let me know where you're watching from and what you're drinking down in the comments, and let's see what I've been working on. So first, let's do some finished objects. Last time I talked about having Charlie finished, and here he is. He's probably about 15 inches tall, I would say. And all of his pieces are sewn on. He's all ready to go. My husband already tried to steal him and put him on his peanuts shelf, and I told him he couldn't have him yet. So there's Charlie Brown. I did notice I didn't put his he's got 3 little hairs that have to go back here, so those will go on this afternoon when I'm done with the podcast, and then he'll be going to my husband today. But there's Charlie. The next thing I've got is, I talked about this last week, all of my ends are sewn in and it's blocked, although I wanted him to be dry for this morning, and I kind of laid him on the heat vent and he got a little wonky going on there. This was my hat turned cowl. I was making a hat and I didn't think I would have enough to make a hat, so I made it into a little cowl. A little tight cowl that I can throw on, which is good because if I'm cold at work I can't have hanging scarves, but I can have that. So there you go. There's that. That was made with knit crate yarn. I don't remember which kind of base it was. And I want to say the name was Mimosa for the color. But yeah, it's got all the stitches really look really nice. I'm really proud of this one. All the stitches are even and looking tight. I really like that one. So I'm really proud of it. Can't wait to wear it. Then I don't know if I want to be done. This is my Jack skeleton. I think I want to crochet a little hat, a little Santa hat to put on. I pulled this out through there for it to hang on the tree with, but I think I want to put just a little red hat on there. So I don't know if he's going to be done or not. Time will tell on this one, on what I do with it, but he could be done, so I'm going to call him done, but I could add to him. Who knows? Who knows with me? Who knows? So those are the extent of my finished objects. So let's move on to what I'm working on. Right, so as far as whips go, my works in progress, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm trying to really work on finishing up things from last year, and really I only have 4 because that one isn't started yet, but I'm going to talk about it. So I've talked about this ad nauseum since I started the podcast. I believe it was in my very first one. This would be Chase's cardigan, the Douglas Cardi. I did put a little bit more progress on it. I don't know how much. I was really working on the rest of them a lot. But I've got one more increase because I'm supposed to have 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh wait, no, 7. I have 7, so I have a couple more rows here before I do my last increase, and then it's just working straight back and forth till I split for the sleeves. And I did hold this up to Chase where he wants it to hit on his waist, and I had, from this marker right there, I had probably like 5 or 6 inches to go before we did that. So before I split for the sleeves, and then, you know, we worked the front panels and the back panels. So there's that. Like I said, not much working done on it. I am using the Karen 1 pound, and it is the colorway is medium gray. So there is that. Then I do have a hoe, because I have a half finished object. I have a sock. But here's my issue. I didn't think about how, so it's just a straight vanilla sock. The black line here, knit in, is where I'm going to put my afterthought. And I thought I was doing really good. I placed my thread for my afterthought, and I went down and measured my however long I had to, and then I started decreasing, and I got to the end, and I'm like, that is too big for my foot. I know it's too big for Lily's foot. So I'm going to, I've already wove in the ends like a silly girl. So instead of taking out all of this and moving my afterthought, I am going to just get the yarn, and as I'm just going to Kitchener stitch that shut and then move it to where I need it to be. So I'll just move down. It'll be down here somewhere so that the foot's not, is only this long. I think I had to move it like five rows or something. I think this is where I need to move it to. So what I will do is I will find a strand in there, and I will snip it and then unweave back the stitches that I need. So sock dilemma continues. I did this last week. I was so proud of myself. So there's that. So with knowing that I have that one to fix, when I cast on the new one, I think I'm just to this point where I'm going to start knitting straight. Now I know to make it longer. So, hey, whatever. So, that's that. And I'm knitting in Knit Crate yarn. I've talked about this. I think I've talked about these almost, no, because it was sometime in December she asked me for these. Knit Crate yarn. And the bottom one, this is Fatigue Green. I don't remember the base name. I don't remember. Spring Green, I think. Not positive. I no longer have the ball bands for that, so I don't know. I think in one of the first episodes I talked about what colors those are. I don't know. So there's that I'm half finished. Then I have one leg warmer. I'm loving them. I'm decided, so when I started these, I cast on 48 stitches and I knit flat for 10 rows, and then I joined in the round. I went to these markers and I increased in the purls every other. I knit 8 rows, and then I increased in the opposite purl rows, so the ones that I did not increase in the last time I increased in, so just so it gave me a little bit of extra room right there. I was going to sew this shut, but I think I'm just going to leave it because then when I put my shoe on, this part will sit on the top of my shoe and keep like the top of my foot warm. And this part, you know, back here is the heel, I think. That's the way I've been putting them on, and I'm liking how that hangs on my foot. So I think I'm going to keep them that way. The last time we talked, I was right here where my little Santa hat is at. So this weekend I finished up. So what I did was I took the two lightest colors here and I worked 30 rows. I dropped the lightest and picked up the next darkest color. And I knit 30 rows here. So by this time I was all knit 2, purl 3. So then I dropped the lighter color and picked up the darkest color and knit here 30 rows. Then I dropped the lightest of the two darks here, kept the darkest, and took the lightest from down here and put it up here. And I knit to here, I want to say it was 8 rows. And then I decreased and changed my needles. So I knit all of this in a 5 millimeter needle. I changed to a 4 millimeter needle. This is all my own little concoction. I did not follow anything when I did these. It was just me throwing something together. I changed to a 4 millimeter needle, so you see how it comes in. It's tighter a little bit right there. So I wanted to stay up high on my leg instead of falling down. So not only did I decrease in my purls, so what I did was I knit 2 together through the back loop of the last knit stitch in my purl and my knit rows and the first purl of my purl rows. So I knit through the back so that the knit stitch stayed on top, so that I kept my 2x2, and I think it looks really good. But then I went to a 4 millimeter needle, and actually I think the decrease row I stayed with my 5 millimeter, I think. This is where I did it at. This was just a counting marker, so I counted that many rows. So, but yeah, but I left all of my markers in so that when I do the next one, I can take this one, my progress keeper off. But I kept all of my locking ones in so that I can make sure that my second one is exactly the same. What I will do is I'm going to do the same thing I do for my sleeves. So whenever I knit sleeves, every time I increase or decrease or however I'm doing it, where it's bottom up, I put a marker in, and as I make the second one, I take the marker from this one and put it in this one, so that I know that that's how far I am in a pattern. So I'll do the same thing for this. When I get to the increase parts, I will take these increase ones out, and as I get to these, I'll take that ones out and go up from there. And then these are just marking where I changed colors. I didn't do anything special there. It was just a spot for me to make sure that when I was counting my rows, I counted my rows right. But yeah, there they are. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. So I only have, let me grab my bag here. I did cast on, but I only have this much left of my 4 minis from before. So I did have to grab another pack of them. This is the way they came in a plastic bag from Knit Crate, so that you see what they are. I've been telling you the whole time I didn't know what they were. So it's Knitology worsted, and I think the color was like Big Skies, just Skies. So that's them. And I've got a couple of these. I had points, and so I had and they were like $25 a piece, and then I had points to take money off, so I bought some of these, and there was a white to gray gradient, so it started off as a white and went to a light gray up here. I've got that one as well, but I think after I do the second leg warmer, I think I might make me a pair of mitts, maybe a little headband to match. I do have the Cozy Up Knits. What is it called? The headband. Jamie did it last winter. Trees, something with trees, little pine tree, and it's a color work headband. So or ear warmer. I might do that for that. So stay tuned. All right, moving right along. Let me put my finished sock in with my other sock, and that's a half. I did do some work on these mittens. I did get the next clue on. I do have quite a few to go. Let me get my other one. It's right over here. So here is my finished one. So I'm right here. I'm just getting ready to start. So this was clue 1. I've got clue 2 done. I'm getting ready to start clue 3. So yeah. Go ahead and put it on. All my ends are sewn in. I got a paper cut the other day, and it's like sticking out, and it keeps catching on everything, and it's sore. But yeah, that's them. These are not blocked. I'm waiting to block them both together. And you know what? I called that other green fatigue green, and this is the fatigue green. This is fatigue green and limestone. That one, I don't know. The socks. I don't know what the name of either one of the colors are. The darker one was with, I'm sorry to be bouncing all over. The darker one I did in my Douglas Cardi when I made it last year, and that was what was left over. So I don't remember the name of that one. And I can't even get on Knit Crate to look because they're not. It does a 404. Can't do it. So, but that's these. Back to what I was talking about. See, I told you about in the beginning my special kind of crazy. Bounce squirrel. All right. And so my last whip I have to talk about was my New Year's Eve cast on, which is my half and half triangle wrap. This is how far I am. I keep this in my bedroom, and I like knit on it a row. I do at least one repeat, so one from the beginning here down to my llama. Let's turn around so everybody can see you. Oh my goodness. There she is. Keep you out of my coffee. My little llama. So she is marking where all of my wrap and turns are at. So I try to do at least one pass down to the llama and back every evening before I go to bed, so that, because these stitches from the llama down stay unworked. So everybody who knows the half and half triangle, I think I cast on like 200 stitches. I'm not positive, somewhere in between what it called for. And I could have gone farther. I had a really long tail. I could have done, I think you have to cast on 260 for the large size and 190 for the small size. Don't quote me. I only looked at it the one time. And I was misreading them, and I thought that it was the 190 for the large size. So I could have cast on probably for the larger size, because I've got a long tail still on there, and it was really long. Still, so, but what I'm using is Knit Crate, the Audine Wools Harmony, and this is in Jazz. That's what I'm using for this half. This is a wool, alpaca, tinsel, and camel worsted weight. Then the other half is getting a green and blue. I forget the colors. I know the blue is called Cinderella. They're also knit crate. I don't remember what the name of the green one was. Look back in the previous episode. I talked about it. So that is everything that I've got going. Now, I had talked about in one of my episodes that I had a hat, the hat that matched this, that I was going to gift it to my son-in-law. Well, my daughter remembered and I forgot, and I gifted it to somebody else because I still wasn't happy with how tight the band was, and he's got shorter hair, so he needs to have it tighter, and that one was looser, and a guy at work has long hair that he tucks up in there, so he doesn't need it tight. He just needs it tight enough to stay on. So I'd given it to him, and so I forgot about it. So this is Kevin's hat that I'm going to be casting on. I'm going to be working it. I'm going to hold 2 yarns together, and one of them will be this one in Sahara, which it is 50% alpaca and 25% Highland, and Highland Merino wool blend, and then Siri alpaca and Sahara. So in this brown, which is very close to that jazz. I can't believe how close that is. And then in I'm gonna put some Lion's Fisherman wool in there. So these 2 browns together, I think it'll be really nice knit up hat form. And with this woolly wool, the way that it blooms up with this little bit of Suri alpaca and stuff in there. Yeah. This has a nice bloom and it fuzzes and plumps, so it should be a nice and warm hat for my son-in-law, Kevin. And I still have some socks I need to figure out for my grandson, Brett. He did text me finally and let me know that he wanted a pair of socks. He did text me and say, Momo, can they be red, blue, or black? And that was all. And I texted him back and I said, what are we talking about, Brett? So he says, my socks. And I was like, oh, okay. So I do try to only do stash diving. So I am going to be pulling some colors out and being like, these are your choices. Pick one. But anyways, the only thing I have left is I do have an acquisition. I didn't have any wool wash. None that I have, I've never tried any. The only one that I've ever tried is the soak, and it was just a little sample that came in knit crate. So I found this on Amazon. It's the Eucalyptus, and it's the samples. And so I have eucalyptus, grapefruit, jasmine, lavender, and an unscented. And I liked them because they're non-toxic, non-biodegradable. I'm sorry, they're They're non-toxic. They are biodegradable. Phosphate-free, recyclable bottle, eco-friendly alternative to dry cleaning, and no optical brighteners. So it's a delicate wash for all kinds of other things, as well as just my wool. So I didn't know what kind of scent I liked, so I thought I would try something like this, because I didn't want to. This was like $25 on Amazon, and you can get a big bottle for like $12, but like I'm back to I didn't know what scent I was going to like, so that's why I was going with something like that. I can figure out what kind of smells I like in my wool wash and go from there. I'm buying newer ones because I just showed you all kinds of stuff I have to wash. Yep. So on the note of washing mishaps and why we went and bought if you watched last week's episode, you will see that we had a boo-boo. We had a mistake. I had a pair of sleeves that I had knit out of Knit Crate, the flannel slate. And I liked them. And they needed to be washed. And I threw them with all of the other clothes to be washed. And then on washing day, I just gathered up all of the clothes and shoved them in there and was like, oh, well, I'll know that's in there. I didn't. I forgot. I forgot that it was in there. It went in the washing machine. And when I was pulling stuff out of the washing machine, I was like, oh, wait, my sleeves. But I kind of looked and I'm like, oh, I don't see them. I must have thrown them out already, gotten them out of the wash. They went in the dryer. And I cried. They felted up, they shrunk. I can't even get my arm in there. So, excuse me. So, I have another project I've got to put on the needles. I have so many projects, but I've talked about projects I want to put on the needles every single week. I even did a whole podcast about things that I want to put on the needles. I don't know how much of that I'm going to actually get done. But hey, here's another project I'm going to throw on the needles for 2023. So the first one was strictly out of not this. It was strictly out of this flannel. So I don't know what I was using this for. I don't remember. Oh, I needed 2 balls of it for my Uptones shawl. So I had these 2 balls. They're already all balled up or caked up. So I'm going to use those and I'm going to do this single strand of the slate flannel. But I'm also going to hold it with the Vidalena Dusk in Midnight, which is Himalayan alpaca and Surrey alpaca. So it's like a bluey, blacky, gray. I don't know how to explain it. Because it's coming out more blue here than it actually is. I don't know. But I'm going to hold the 2 of those together for a little marled thing. It does bloom a little bit. I don't remember what was in that one. Okay, so I did go and grab one. I did have some more back there. So this is the flannel, the Audine Wools flannel. It is slate is the colorway, and it's 47% Surrey alpaca, 30-something, 38 I think, alpaca wool. Then there's a 15% non-superwash merino wool in there. It's not wanting to. There we go. The lights are crazy. So that's the flannel. Sorry, everything fell out of that bag. So that's the flannel. I'm going to try to only use what I've got there and this. The last time I made them, it took 2 of the skeins, and I don't think it took a full 2. So I knit that one on a 5mm needle. I knitted in the round. Again, it was just my concoction. I knit ribbing. I think I did 1x1 ribbing for probably about as long as this one is. This is a crocheted one, but I knitted probably about that long and then worked it in a tube all the way up to my arm, increasing a little bit. I didn't do a lot of increasing. It was really tight on my arms. So I did some increasing and then worked flat where the back is, and then joined it together and knit down the arm, and then knit the one by one ribbing. So this one's crochet, but this one is also one of my own designs. It is, I'm trying to think of what I did in this. I want to say it was these little shells are like knit two, chain one, or two double crochets, chain one, and then another double crochet in the stitch below. So I think that was the design I used for this one. It's not, I'm like not super warm to like go outside in, you know, because holes, even with a long sleeve shirt on, but sitting around the house, it keeps me nice and warm. Something to put on my arms, just when I have a short sleeve shirt on, just that little bit does give me some warmth. So this is probably 6 or 7 years old. This one's pretty old. But these I forget how many I chained. Like I said, it's about 7 years old. I probably did chained like 30, probably around 30, and then half double crocheted in back loop all the way around until it was the size that I wanted. And then looks like I double crocheted around the edge here, and I increased to what it is here. And then I did the little design. I don't know what I did. I did do so I worked this piece flat back and forth, and then I added this on. So I single crocheted here and double crocheted there, and like attached them this here on both sides is what I think my construction was. I don't think I actually whip stitched anything. I think I just kind of single crocheted through everything. 7 years ago. I've slept since then. I don't know. But like I said, this was probably the first one that I ever did. I've got a couple of them. I've got one that I just did, it's only to my elbows, and then I just put a little tiny cuff on there. If I were to make these again, and I might try this at some point, doing this part crocheting and then doing this part in knitting, because I like something that I've been doing with some of my hats is, because crochet is so much faster, I will knit the body of the hat, or I'm sorry, I will crochet the body of the hat, just like that Santa hat I made before Christmas. I will crochet the top of the hat and then pick up stitches along the crochet to do the brim, just because I like the style of the 1x1 or 2x2 rib on a hat, but the crocheting is so much faster. So that is something I might think about doing, finding some pattern that I like for Kevin's hat, so that I can get it done and get it to him so we can enjoy it. I really am upset that I forgot that I said that I was going to send him that hat and gave it to somebody else. It's really upset me. So I've got to make sure that happens, and I can hopefully get it in the mail at the same time I send up Lily's socks, and then I only have Brett's socks to work in. And so, and there is one more there's two more grandchildren, but one more that can message Momo and ask her for socks if that's what she's wanting. But she's got to want them, and I got to know that she's going to wear them. But anyways, I think that's all for today. I think that is my whole episode. I think I've waffled on and rabbit holed down enough, and I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, and I will talk to you guys in the future. See you next week. Bye.